So, as soon as the story begins, we see a couple, Irene and Franklin. They had been married for about 50 years, and they were very happy even today. Franklin notices that Irene, his wife, is not eating today. And seeing this, he got worried because he felt that Irene was sick. At this time, Irene asks him to see the stars. And these people go to a basement instead of going out. It seemed as if they had hidden the basement from everyone. After removing a lot of things, they opened the door of this basement. These people got down in the basement, crossed a long tunnel, and then reached a strange room. As soon as they entered this room, they pressed something, and we saw bright light coming from above. The floor of the room shook violently, and these people reached a strange place. It seemed as if that room was a teleporter. At this time, these people were on an observation deck where a glass was placed. And on the other side of the glass, they were seeing a very beautiful view, shining stars and all the other planets. It seemed as if they were in space or have come to another planet. After a while, Franklin tells Irene that we should go back now. But Irene wanted to spend some more time here, on which Franklin tells her that it's been a year since we discovered this place. And since you have started coming here, you have started liking it a lot. You have started coming here a lot these days. And whenever we come here, nothing new happens. I don't know why, but why do you insist on coming here every day? Franklin thought that now he should tell others about this place. But Irene thought that he should find out about this mysterious place himself. After all, what was that teleporter? And what was this place where these people used to teleport? Now with the same teleporter, these people go back to their basement. And leaving their backyard at this time of the night, when these people were going home, their neighbor also noticed this. In the morning, Franklin and Irene go for their routine checkup, while their neighbor Barren, who was keeping an eye on them, tells his wife, "I think they are hiding something." They were in the garden at night. I don't know what is in their garden that they go there every night. Barron's wife was tired of such things from her husband. She says, "Stop keeping an eye on others. Sometimes think about your own house." Here, from their talks, we come to know that Barron is running a campaign to become a city councilor, and his wife knows that he will not be able to do this work. That means he will not be able to become a counselor. Now the scene cuts, and we see Irene with the doctor. Where the doctor was doing normal questioning to Irene. "How are you taking your diet these days? Are you exercising or not? And how is your physical therapy going on?" The doctor noticed that Irene was avoiding answering all this. This meant that everything was not right. Because of this, her health is getting worse. Now the doctor suggests to Irene that you should keep a caretaker, because Franklin can't take all your responsibilities alone now. While Irene's checkup was going on, Franklin went to meet his granddaughter, whose name is Denise. Denise was very worried about them, because her neighbor, Barron, told her through social media that they go somewhere every night. At this time, Denise tells him that if possible, you guys should shift home. But Franklin doesn't agree to this either. Here, Irene comes to a care home to meet her old friend who had amnesia. It was a disease of forgetting. Irene told her friend about the teleporter, but she had forgotten about all this. In this care home, Irene finds a caretaker named Chandra. Anyway, Franklin and Irene reach home late at night, and in their absence, Barron, who was their neighbor, had entered their backyard to find out why that old couple used to go there every day. Here, after coming home, Irene also tells Franklin that if I die, you sell this house immediately. Even today, Irene's mental condition was not right. She wakes up in the middle of the night and writes a letter to Franklin. After that, she went to her secret basement. Today, she had decided that she would see the outside world, which she had always seen from behind the glass. Before she opened the secret door there, she saw a boy sleeping in the tunnel behind her. Her condition was getting very strange. She got scared. Irene also asks her, "Who are you?" But this boy doesn't answer. It was morning time. Franklin was seeing Irene everywhere. When he didn't find her, he saw her in the garden outside. There, Irene saw her shivering. She looked scared. Franklin picked her up and brought her inside. Now, Irene told him that I have seen a living person in that tunnel. Franklin didn't believe her after that. He went to the tunnel himself to check, where he actually met that boy. As soon as Franklin touched her, Franklin's hands were filled with blood. Franklin picked up this girl and brought her to his house. When they came here, they should have covered the boy's wound, but they didn't see any wound on his body. Franklin thought that he is just an ordinary person, and maybe he's a drunkard. He must have come here to hide after drinking alcohol. But Irene tells him to believe her. "I have got this from the observation deck." Franklin was about to inform the police about this man, but then Irene stops him and says, listen, maybe this stranger is related to the same mystery, the same teleporter, which teleports us to another world. We shouldn't tell the police about this. So they pick up this man and take him to a room upstairs. In the meantime, they come to the police because Franklin had already reported the police. When the police came, Franklin made an excuse that the man ran away, but the officers still wanted to search the house. Then, Irene takes him alone and tells him that Franklin has a mental illness. He has started seeing very useless things these days. Maybe that's why he complained to you. By the way, no one came to our house. And after hearing this, the police officer leaves from there. After all this, the scene ends here. And now in a new city, we meet two new characters, Estella and her daughter, Tony. Tony goes out of the house instead of going to the room after having dinner with his mom, because his class fellow was about to come to meet him outside. These people also go to a backyard near their house, which was no less than a church. Here, Tony tries to get close to this boy, but this boy keeps Tony away and says to him, I didn't come here to meet you. Actually, I found out that your grandpa was part of a cult, and I just came here to investigate this. Hearing this, Tony's heart broke. And in the meantime, Tony's mom also came here. She scolds them and drives them away. And then she goes to a strange room quietly, in the same teleporter as we have seen in Franklin's house. When she comes here, she takes out a dial Numa thing and sees if he is safe in it. And after seeing this, she left from there. The next morning, Estella did not find Tony at home. She got scared and went to look for him. When she came out to look for him, she found out that Tony was trying to run away from home. She convinced him with great difficulty and took him to a cafe, where Tony told Estella that he is tired of this boy's life. Neither can she make friends here, nor has her mom given her permission to go anywhere. She wants to enjoy her life. In response, Estella says, I know it is very difficult to do all this, staying away from people, being in yourself. It is also very difficult to do such work. But all this is our helplessness, because our whole family is on a mission. We have to protect this chapel. Earlier, your grandpa used to do this work. Now I do it. And when the time comes, you will also have to do it. Now she was talking about this. An alert came on her mobile that someone has entered her chapel. In a hurry, these people reach home, so the door of the chapel was also open. But there was no one there. Estella now held a gun in her hand and ran towards the house, because whoever it was, he must have entered the house by now. When he went there, he found out that it was Cornelius, his acquaintance, who also knew all the facts about the chapel. He comes here and asks Estella the first question, are you training Tony or not? Here we see that Aaron and Franklin were looking for the bag found from that stranger, in which there were some gold coins, something like a tablet, and a book. There was also a photo in the book, under which Gabriel was written. While doing this, she hears a voice from that stranger's room. She sees that the boy was trying to run away from here. But when Aaron touched him and felt that the boy had a fever, she puts him back on the bed. Aaron now asks Franklin for medicine for him. But the pharmaceutical companies do not give him any medicine because they did not have a prescription. That's why Aaron made a special kava for him. Outside of pharma, Franklin also gets Byron. He was asking Franklin for comments for his campaign. But Franklin tells him very shamelessly, I don't like you, and neither am I going to comment on you. Byron was also shameless. After being insulted so much, he himself writes good comments for himself from Franklin. After this, when Byron reached home, his wife told him that the police had come to Franklin's house in the morning. He was also surprised to hear this. And finally, we are shown that that stranger boy had come to Aaron. When Aaron asks him, the boy says, my name is Jude. Where have I come from? How did I get here? I don't remember anything. I remember some mountains and rain. Maybe I fell from those mountains. And when I came to my senses, I was here with you guys. After hearing all this, Aaron gives him food. And at Franklin's behest, she locks his room. At night, the boy got up and opened his room lock in a big way. Quietly, he goes to the kitchen and takes a knife and hides it and brings it to the washroom. Here, with the help of a knife, a small cut was made on his leg, and a sparkling capsule came out of his leg, which he throws in the sink and leaves. Here we see Estella and Tony, to whom Cornelius had given a new mission, to find a man. On this mission, he tells Estella to take Tony with her, and he also tells her to teach her how to play per disco, because in the future, All this work was to be seen by Tony. But Estella was not ready for this. After leaving Cornelius, Tony asks Estella, "What is Perdisco, Mom?" Estella gives a small answer, that it is away. She also told Tony to pack his bag. "We're going on a trip." After packing, these people went to a secret corridor instead of going to the airport, where there was a hidden panel inside the tile of the wall. Here Estella chooses a specific area, and these people teleport to that place in a few seconds. Tony was very surprised by all these things. But anyway, on the other hand, we are seeing the story of Franklin, who has gone to the antique shop to sell the gold coins that came out of the bag of lies. Here Cornelius tells that these are Spanish tabloons, which were found in the 17th century. Will anyone want to buy them today or not? He can't tell this. When they come home, Aaron and Franklin see that their house lights were flickering badly. They thought there would be a lie behind all this, but the lie was in their room. These people now decide to take the lie out, but as soon as they went to the car, the lie started vomiting. Franklin was very tired of all these strange things. He now decided that he would not keep the lie with him. That's why he takes the lie to a bus station in his car in the morning, and while giving him some money, he tells him to go away from his life. The lie did not answer him here. He took the money and left the car. Before he could get into a bus, Franklin had a thought in his mind, and he stopped the lie by making a sound. At home, we see that Aaron was looking for the room of the lie, where he found a strange, shining sphere in a jar. She was surprised. What can this thing be? To check it, when she sits on the sofa and puts it on the table. Surprisingly, the table disappears from under it. Now she was surprised about all this. She saw that her granddaughter Denise had come to her house, with which she quickly hides this sphere. But still, how many things will she hide? Denise gets hold of the book of lies from which she got a picture. When Denise asks Aaron about this, Aaron makes an excuse. "Hey, I took this book secondhand, and when I took this book, this picture was already inside it." Meanwhile, we see that Franklin and the lie had also returned home. Denise now asks him about this. When Franklin tells him who this boy is, he says that he is our caretaker. But Denise did not believe any of his words. She knew that something was definitely wrong. So after eating, she does not return to her city. In fact, she stays at a friend's house in her grandpa's town, so that in the morning, she can keep an eye on everything. While here Aaron, Franklin, and the lie were talking, where Aaron tells the lie that he also had a son, who died when his daughter Denise was only 5 years old. While telling this, Aaron was a little sad. To reduce his sadness, the lie now tells him that the picture of a man named Gabriel in the book is actually my dad, and he left me when I was very young. The lie thinks that he has been specially sent here to find his dad. Aaron says, "If this is the case, then I will definitely help you find him." Here it is shown in the bathroom that Franklin saw the same knife from which the lie had cut his leg. Along with that, he also saw the capsule in the sink. When he tapped on it, the capsule and the things that came out of it began to glow as if they were stars. He wanted to see all these things. That's why he turns off the tap. But unfortunately, all those things, those glowing objects, also flow with water and go away. And he can't see anything. Now, Byron was putting up posters of his campaigns. But then he gets a call from the committee, and he is given a bad news that he can no longer run his campaign, because many people's fake signatures have been found on his campaign papers. And we also saw that Franklin's signature was done by himself. Now, Byron didn't have a campaign to run. He thought something else should be done. What else was to be done? He was always suspicious about Franklin's house. That's why he went to Franklin's shed, where he finally found the secret door, in which there was a secret tunnel and a teleporter. Byron also saw the teleporter, but now he doesn't know the truth. In the morning, Jude comes to the garden with the same glowing sphere. The glowing sphere was found by Aaron. While digging a hole in the garden, when he was hiding it, Byron also saw it. Now the one who was already suspicious started asking thousands of questions from Jude. Jude also doesn't answer most of his questions and tells him that I am Franklin's caretaker. Here we can see that Franklin has come to the police station with Jude's coffee mug, because after seeing what he saw in the bathroom, he started doubting Jude. He didn't think he was a normal person. He tells all these things to the police officer and requests him to find out his fingerprints. See, there is definitely a secret behind all this. But the police officer also starts laughing when he hears it and says that Aaron was right about you. You have really started taking care of the glowing sphere. You should take care of your health. On the other hand, Aaron and Jude went to a library to find Gabriel. They give Gabriel's photo to the librarian and tell him that, will you help us find this man online? The librarian also helps them, and she finds out through an old newspaper that Jude's father was arrested for a crime many years ago, and now he has amnesia. He also has forgetfulness. He could not even tell his father about himself. Who is he? Where did he come from? And why is he here? Now everyone comes back home. Franklin and Aaron start fighting here because Aaron lied to the police about Franklin that he has gone mad. But Aaron doesn't give any answer to all this. Then Franklin says, look, Aaron, try to understand. That man can never take our son's place. Our son is dead. But Aaron was not ready to listen to anything. In anger, Franklin goes on a long drive to control his anger, where he saw on the way that Byron, his neighbor, was burning all his campaign signs. Finally, we see Estella and Nick again, who have gone to a special man in the U.S. That man searches the special court given to them and tells them a specific area where they could find the man they were looking for. But it was not easy to find a man in such a big city. That's why the boy who was helping them now decides to go with them in his special van, because he could track that man through his van. While traveling in his bus, Tony notices that he has a lot of guns and other things in this bus. Here at Aaron and Franklin's house, we meet a nurse named Chandra. Chandra was the same nurse we met in Aaron's friend's care home. She was thrown out of the care home because she had stolen things from the people living there. And now she has come to Aaron's house to look for a job. But after coming here, she was sad to see that the lie is already working as their caretaker. Despite knowing this, she sends Aaron her business card. And before leaving, she looks for excuses to use the washroom, that maybe she can get some money to steal. After their departure, we see that they got a call for Franklin. Franklin was not at home, so he picks up the call. On the other hand, he was talking about an antique shop, to which Franklin had given a gold coin of a lie. Now, because the shopkeeper had got a buyer for it, he asked Franklin, do you want to sell it? Obviously, those coins were of a lie. He did not want to sell them to Judas. And he also did not want to make him feel that he had stolen and reached that shop. He pretends to be Franklin's son and refuses to sell the coins. Before hanging up the phone, Judas asked him, can I get the buyer's number? He thought that those who buy coins can be his dad. But when he calls the buyer's number, he is told that he has called the wrong number, because there is no Gabriel there. During their conversation, we notice that they are talking in Latin. And there are some things that happen between Australia and the coin areas. The phone rings, and it is night. At night, when Judas was looking for his tablet in the house, he could not find it anywhere. And then he thought that Chandra must have stolen it. So he takes Chandra's business card from Aaron and goes to find her. Now, because he did not know the way here, he could not find Chandra. But he went to a bar where Denise was also there. Here, he enjoys a lot with Denise. And in a little while, he also melts into the honey color. Finally, now he had decided to perform on stage. When he sings a slow song in Latin, everyone starts looking at him. No one understood what he was singing, but he was singing very beautifully, which everyone was enjoying. And then after the song was over, when he saw everyone, he felt very weird. He felt weird, so, avoiding Denise's eyes, he left the bar. Here, in the gaming zone, we see that Franklin and Byron were playing snooker. Then Byron says to Franklin, it was not good that you complained to the authorities about me. Franklin says, I did not complain about you. Byron was also surprised. Didn't you complain about me? Your fake signature, on which Franklin says his misunderstanding is far away. No, I did not make any such complaint. In the same conversation, there is a very good bonding between the two. Now the dust was moving from their hearts. Here, they also drink a lot. And after drinking, Byron tells Franklin, I saw that secret door and secret tunnel in your shirt. Franklin does not give any strange response. He did not even make him feel that he wanted to hide him. He says to him, if you want to see him more, then I am ready to show you. Neither the lie had come back to Aaron's house, nor was Franklin enough. He was also scared, so he took out his car and went to the city to find them. Now, as soon as he left the house, Franklin came back with Byron, and without seeing him at home, he took Byron to the shed where he was a teleporter. After going to the teleporter, nothing happened there before. Byron thought that some mad or crazy person must have made all this for his enjoyment. On the other side, Jude, who was walking on the empty road at this time, suddenly, the police car came behind him. The police had come to arrest him. But I don't know why he felt that the police were behind him. That's why he started running. And the police also misunderstood that Jude was running away by doing something wrong. That's why the police arrested him. The time the police were arresting him, Erin also came there with her car. Now, because the police had taken him to the police station, that's why Erin also came to the police station behind Jude. The police say that Jude was running away from us. That's why we arrested him. Why was he running away? This is the explanation that Erin is also asking Jude. Then Erin says that my whole life has passed in a closed compound, where I had to guard a mysterious door. I didn't know where it used to open and where it used to go. No one even knew who made it. They were very old. Jude says that the planet you see from the teleporter is just a wasteland, where people die as soon as they go. Jude says that I was tired of living there. I was getting tired of living there. That's why I wanted to run away from there. And when I tried to run away from there, then a guard wanted to stop me. I stabbed his stomach again and ran away from there. That's why the day Jude met Erin and Franklin, he had blood on his body. Jude says that if anyone from my organization finds me, they will kill me immediately. But Jude didn't want to die. He had a mission. He thought his dad had also run away from this door. That's why he also wanted to find his dad, Gabriel, and he was afraid of the police. He ran away because he thought the police would be involved with his organization. Even the police didn't know so many things. That's why Erin gets rid of Jude by spreading her sweet words to the police. It is shown here that Tony and Estella are staying in a deserted place with their friend. There is also a very big transmission tower. To hack this transmission tower, their friend was climbing on it. It was all very crazy. But still, Estella tells Tony, "You won't upload a picture of anything like this on social media." Estella's friend had not yet completed his work here. The utility worker who saw them came here. In this way, any of their secrets could be revealed. That's why Estella makes him unconscious and ties him up and puts him in her car. After this, Nick, Estella's friend's work is done. They start their journey again. After going a little far, Estella asked Nick to change the way. He didn't understand. But Estella stopped the car near the jungle and got out of the car and started walking towards the trees. While walking here, he remembered a lot. In the flashback, it is shown that Estella has come here with her father, first for a mission, where the mission was given to him only to control the radar. But he came out of the car in fear, and he followed his dad in these jungles. He was forcibly with a girl. He was trying to take her with him. But when the girl doesn't listen to him, Estella's dad shoots him, after which Estella helps him put the girl back in his car. And they both together drop the car in the water. This was the day when Estella found out that it was her duty. Protecting a secret thing and doing anything for it was Estella's duty. And in the coming days, this duty was to take care of Tony too. That's why we see that Nick is teaching Tony to shoot. In the same way, Nick also tells Tony that he knows about his dad, about which Estella had never told Tony. After the scene, we see Erin and Franklin again, who have gone to the doctor. This time the doctor is very happy with Erin's progress because he has improved a lot in his health. And all this was happening because of the lie, which helped Erin to get out of the trauma of his dead daughter. At the time when Franklin and Erin were in the hospital, from behind them, Dennis comes to their house and meets Jude. She asks Jude about the picture in the book because she knew that the picture is of Jude, on which Jude answers, "Do you want to know about my family? My family is a cult." Obviously, if Jude had told this to anyone, no one would have believed him. When he comes home, he gives a camera to Franklin and Erin. There were photos of that time in this camera. When these people went to another place through the teleporter, he tells him, "You didn't believe me. Develop these pictures and see all the truth." After this, Erin and Jude go to Chandra's house because Jude felt that Chandra must have stolen his tablet. Erin puts him in the bathroom here, and Jude gets a chance to search his house, where he gets a tablet along with a necklace, which had the same device in it. The device Jude had taken out of his leg. And when he asked Chandra, "Tell me, whose is this?" Here, these people also came to know that Chandra had stolen a lot of things from her patients. Erin tells Chandra, "Look, I will keep this a secret. I will not tell anyone that you have stolen. If you tell me, where did you get this necklace from? And whose is this necklace?" But Chandra does not give him any answer here. That's why Jude and Erin leave from there. And Jude sits in the car and tells Erin, "This capsule is a kind of tracker, which is put inside us. That's why I took out this tracker. When that tablet is a key, a special kind of key, which these people call protection, and about which not much has been told yet." Here we see that Byron develops the photos of the camera given to him by Franklin and learns the whole truth, that those people really go to some other planet in some observation deck through that teleporter. He did not believe this at all. He immediately sits on the internet and starts searching about these things, where he gets a lot of theories about teleportation. But it was difficult to believe anyone. And while doing his research, he finally finds out about a theory called impossible door. According to this theory, impossible door was made by an Argentine in 17th century. Here, when Franklin came to his house, he was able to open the door of the shed, went inside and saw that Byron was working on that mysterious door, because of which these people always used to teleport and reach somewhere else. But till now, he was not able to open this door. Then Franklin comes here and helps him, and takes out a blood-stained tile from the wall. It was revealed to us that there was a control panel inside it, just like the house of Estella, but there was no sphere inside it. Which sphere was in the control panel of Estella? And Franklin thought, there is definitely a lie behind the disappearance of that sphere. The lie must have stolen it. The next day, while working in the garden, Byron also finds that shining sphere from under the ground, which was kept there by the lie. Here the scene got cut. We again see Estella, her companion Nick, and her daughter Tony, to spend the night. These people stayed in a hotel. When Estella starts hearing strange sounds from the outside of Nick's room, as soon as she opened the door and went inside, she saw that Nick was playing with that glowing sphere and was trying to impress a girl by showing her strange magic tricks. As soon as she goes there, she gives the girl money and makes her run away from here. And she keeps the sphere with her and tells Nick, you know, your brother was killed because of your mischief. In response to all this, Nick misbehaves with her, even in the morning when he threatens Estella that he will tell Nick about his dad. Then Estella hits his face on the table, takes his van, and runs away from there. Now on the way, Estella tells Tony, actually, the man they are looking for is a part of their organization, but now to find him, to go ahead. Only Nick knew this, so Tony now helps Estella. We could do Nick's work ourselves, using the Nicky machine. The scene gets cut, and we see Jude, who came to a man with Davis, because he was the old man told by Chandra, with whom he stole the capsule locket of the tracker. Jude thought that the necklace would be his dad's, and surely he will get his dad's address with the help of this necklace. But after going to that man's house, it was found that the locket was of that man's dad, who was a truck driver. One day, while driving the truck, a stranger asked for help from him. He also gave a lift, and then that stranger cut his leg, took out the capsule from it, and left it in the truck, and then he ran away. After hearing this, Jude's all hopes were over. Now how will he find his dad Gabriel? Because the tracker, he dropped it in an unknown truck and left it. At home, Byron shows Franklin a sphere. It was the same sphere, which was to be kept in that control panel. Byron was very excited to try it, but not Franklin. Franklin tells him, you try it alone. That's why Byron himself goes inside the shed to put that sphere in that control panel. But even after putting the sphere in the control panel, nothing happens there. Here in the police station, the police got a report of a lot of illegal activities of Jude. However, since we have been seeing Jude, since then he has not done anything wrong. Now the police officer goes to Aaron's house to arrest Jude. Aaron was also surprised to see all this. To save Jude, she lies to the officer that she drank alcohol last night. That's why I fired her from the job. As soon as the police officer leaves, Jude and Denise come here. Here Jude tells Aaron that I have found a location of my dad years ago. It is also possible that I will find my dad. Here Aaron also tells him that the police officers came looking for you because a lot of criminal activities have been reported against you. Jude is surprised to see them and tells Aaron that this is definitely the work of my organization, because they want to catch me, whether it is through the police or through anyone else. After telling all this, Jude now goes in search of his dad with Denise and Aaron. When Franklin gets a call at home about buying those coins, which Jude stole and took it to an antique shop. This time a buyer came to buy those coins, who potentially wanted to buy it, and also wanted to know, after all, where did Franklin get such rare coins? Franklin did not have an answer to this. He got nervous and hung up the phone. Just at this time, Byron also came to call him because he wanted to tell him he had installed a generator with a teleporter. That orb did not work that day because it had less power. As soon as he gives energy to this orb through the generator, suddenly, a very big shockwave passes through the entire area. Lights everywhere start flickering. Dogs also start barking. Car alarms also started ringing. Even Estella and Tony. In the truck they were in, this shockwave was also felt in that truck. Anyway, it is shown here that finally, now, through that teleporter, Franklin and Byron have reached inside that observation deck, where Franklin and Aaron have come many times. Byron was amazed to see all this with his own eyes. The view in front was very beautiful. Franklin tells Byron here, "I never had the courage to go out of this observation deck, but now I have decided that I will definitely go out. I have been trying to make a spacesuit for many years, but I have not been able to make it till now." Byron says, "No problem. Now we will complete it together." Now to complete this spacesuit, he goes to a shop and buys some diving suits. And then he comes home and starts buying tools, where he had a fight with his wife. Because for many days, Byron was not seen at home, and he was not interested in anything at home. During these talks, Byron finds out that in the council, the one who was going to report against him, and not anyone, but his wife. Here we see Estella, who was putting up fake missing posters in the city. Saying this, the police officer sees her, and in this way, Estella gets very scared. Tony, to handle the situation, started talking to Estella in Latin, and the officer, on not understanding anything, got infused and left from there. And finally, both of their lives were saved by this police officer. Anyway, after this, they come to a hotel room where Tony, while checking social media, watches a video of Jude. This was the video at that time when Jude had sung a song in the bar. As soon as he saw this, Estella got hope that she has met Jude. She, now alone, decides to investigate this whole matter. After going to the bar, Estella doesn't know about Jude, but she does know about a card that was left by Jude, which was of Chandra. Actually, when he left to find Chandra, then he left his card in this bar. Now Estella wants to meet Chandra, meaning the nurse, where when she asks the nurse about Jude, then Chandra, saying this, doesn't give any answer. That until you don't give me money. Until then, I won't tell you anything about anyone. Actually, at that time, Cornelius didn't have money, and he thought, why not make Estella this fool? Estella didn't have money at that time. That's why she came back to the hotel to take money, where she found Cornelius, who came to take an update from her. That after all, how far did she reach on her mission? Estella also tells Cornelius everything that she, through a video, got to know about a bar where Jude was. From there, she got a card, and on going to that girl's house, that girl, without giving money, didn't want to tell anything. Now Cornelius goes with them, and Chandra gives some gold coins, but Chandra, saying this, throws them to the other side. That what do I know? Is this real or not? I just need cash amount only. Hearing this, Cornelius also got angry, and he went to her and started torturing her. He tortured Chandra until Chandra didn't tell her Jude's location. And after that, he killed Chandra and put her in his car and burned her car. Seeing this, Estella and Tony, standing behind, both were scared. Anyway, on the other side, now we see Jude, Aaron, and Dennis, who reached that place. The place about which that man told that truck driver. Maybe here, Gabriel. That means Jude's dad must have dropped somewhere around here. They find a house where they start investigating about Gabriel, and it is known that a girl named Hannah was in a relationship with Gabriel. But from today, 15 years ago, without telling anything, Gabriel left her and went away. Hopelessly, they had to go back, but Hannah stops them for the night because they had done a very long drive. Here at Hannah's house, Aaron calls Franklin, but Franklin was not receiving the call because he was feeling that something has gone wrong in his and Aaron's relationship. Here, all these people were hearing a few weird sounds around Hannah's house. But Hannah, while telling all this, convinced them that in the jungle, the sounds of the wind were coming from the jungle. So, it was clear that Hannah was hiding something because after these people go to sleep, Hannah goes to a secret room where a man was watching them with a secret camera. Now, this boy tells Hannah that the number Aaron has just called, that number is of the same man who was selling gold coins. And here, we came to know that Franklin was not receiving the calls from outside to buy those coins, but was with Hannah. Here we see that Jude slept in Gabriel's room, where Gabriel lived 15 years ago, and Gabriel had the same book that Jude had. In this book, a lot of notes were made, a lot of lines were underlined. After the scene, we see Franklin and Byron, where finally Byron has completed his spacesuit, and these people are now on the same teleporter in the observation deck. From where go to the other side was their dream, which they were about to accomplish. From the observation deck, these stars were seen every night, but now it was daytime. Byron tells Franklin to go out with him, but Franklin, while saying this, refuses. That for many years, Aaron was insisting on going here, and it is not possible that I go without him. Now, after going out of this observation deck, Byron was very happy, was very excited. Franklin was communicating with him through the radio and was telling him, don't go too far. Don't let anything happen to you. But Byron doesn't listen. He says that I can see a furniture in front of me. While saying this, he came and went behind a hill and then didn't come back. Even his signals were broken, and Franklin was very scared. Now, what could he do? Scared, he came back home, sitting in a teleporter, where he saw that Aram and his family had also returned. His face was clearly visible that something bad had happened to him. But when these people asked Franklin what happened, then Franklin says that I'm not feeling well. Here, we can see that through the notes of Jude Gabriel's book, he's trying to translate the message written on his tablet and on his book. While here, now, Aram has come to the teleporter room with Denise because he feels that this is the right time to tell someone about this teleporter. He brings him to this teleporter and tells Denise that after your dad's death, we got this teleporter, and since then, I felt that my son is somehow connected to it. That's why I didn't tell anyone about it. Irene also tells him that after your dad's death, I went into depression, and with the help of this teleporter, I went to other planets, and I reduced my sorrow. I came out of depression for a long time. Denise sat here and listened to him, but then she got angry because her grandparents hid so many truths from her. Outside the shed, here is Jude. Now, he was looking for that orb, which Byron was already looking for. He has put it in his control panel. Then, it is shown here that Franklin went back into the same observation deck. Through the radio, he called out to Byron, tried to find him, but Byron still didn't come to know. Afraid, he came back to his world, and when he was going home, then he found Byron's wife, who asked him, have you seen Byron anywhere? Here it is shown at home that when Aaron and Franklin were together, Byron, then Jude, came to them, and he asked both of them about that shining sphere, about which both of them don't tell him anything. Then Jude tells them that what they think is a toy is not a toy, but a very powerful orb, and it can prove to be dangerous. On his saying, these people got to know that Jude knows a lot about those things. Then Jude tells them that behind the observation deck is only wasteland, where all bad things go, or where after going, things cutting the scene. Finally, we see Estella and Tony, who are looking for Jude with Cornelius. Here, Cornelius stops the truck for 2 minutes and goes out of the truck when Estella tells Tony that in any case, we have to find Jude and kill him. If we don't do this, then Cornelius, when he was in the jungle, he saw dead birds there. After these birds died, he quickly tells Estella, now these people were talking, that in the front car, they saw Jude, and their search was over. Jude's car had come and gone. Estella started following Jude's car, while Tony and Cornelius, from far, started investigating Iron's house. In the same talks, Cornelius told Tony, Jude, your parents are dead, and they've run away, and your mom killed them. And after all this, I will definitely get you to meet them. After saying this, these people start their mission. Tony stands in front and tries to talk to Franklin. Before Franklin asks him, who are you? Cornelius comes behind and takes him to the gunpoint. Tony, coming in front and talking to him, was just a trap. Here we are shown that where Jude and Denise, and both of them hide in a car kiosk. Jude told Denise to go to her grandparents first and don't look back at me. After saying this, he ran into the jungle and Estella started following him. When Denise reached home, she saw that Franklin and Aaron had already been captured by Cornelius. And when he left, he was also captured. Before Cornelius could kill any of them, Aaron got scared and told him that there is a teleporter in our shed. Hearing this, he was a little surprised and he put his gun to Tony and went into the shed himself to check the teleporter. Tony didn't like to keep these people tied up like this. After a little courage, as soon as she tries to get these people released, Cornelius comes back at the same time. Now, according to Cornelius, because Tony was going to commit a crime, Cornelius started punishing him first. And during this time, we saw that Denise had gotten all of them released with the help of her keys. It is said that Estella was still following Jude in the jungle. That's when Cornelius called her to make an announcement in the jungle that if Jude wants to save Aaron's family, then he should surrender himself immediately. Otherwise, his whole family will be killed. Unwillingly, Jude had to come forward to save those people. And Estella pulled him and let her go with her. Then Jude said to her, I remember you since childhood. I remember you sitting on your knees and begging for something. And at that time, there was a festival or a ceremony going on in our organization. Estella doesn't respond to anything and puts him in her van and brings him to Aaron's house. As soon as he goes there, Cornelius punches Jude hard and tells him that he sent you. Now who sent Jude? This was a new mystery. But Cornelius and Estella were about to kill him. What was the reason behind this? This is also a mystery. Before he kills Jude, Franklin stands here and comes to save Jude. But what was the power of an old man? In front of him, he suddenly gave Franklin a shock and threw him away. Seeing this, Aaron got angry and she picked up something from there and hit Cornelius on the head, with which he fell there. Estella took care of his gun and told her that Cornelius will not die a bad death. After saying this, she made Cornelius unconscious with her teaser gun and tied him in her van. After doing this, she told Aaron and Franklin that they and Tony will now go on a long journey. They had to go back home from their teleporter. Here Jude asked him that, you will not be afraid and go for a long journey. While they were driving, someone hit their van from behind. They thought it was a mistake, but it was not. Someone was doing this on purpose. This car came from this side, and when it hit the truck fell to the ground. After getting out of the truck, the men captured Estella and Tony. We saw that there was no one in the car but Hannah. Aaron and her family were stopped at their home for a night. They say hello to Cornelius, and the scene ends here, and we are shown again Aaron's family. Jude was fixing the teleportation machine. He shows that the tablet he had was actually a part of this control panel. It was a keyboard with which he could set the location of this teleporter anywhere. And wherever Jude had to go, he could go there too. He says goodbye to everyone, and it becomes an emotional moment for everyone. Before he leaves, Denise tells him that she will also go with him. Jude did not stop her, and in a few seconds, they disappeared from the teleporter. When they were shown, they were in a fancy building in Bangkok. Now the scene is cut, and finally we see Aaron and Franklin again. Finally, he confesses to Aaron that he has made a spacesuit because of which they can now go to the other side of the observation deck. After saying this, he also tells Aaron the truth that Franklin and Byron made that suit together, and Byron has disappeared at that place. If he is dead, we will have to bring him back from there. At least his wife saw him for the last time. Here, Aaron supports Franklin and sends him out of the observation deck wearing a spacesuit. Franklin's contact with him disappears, and he disappears from the other side of the mountain. Actually, Franklin was looking at the other side of the mountain that a dead man is lying there. This man was killed by Jude. Jude had also told him. Now he was searching all this that suddenly the oxygen in his suit started running out. It became difficult for him to breathe, and he fainted here. He thought that he would not be alive now. But at the same time, Aaron came here. He took off his mask, and we were shown that Aaron was also here without a mask. Humans could breathe here. Franklin relaxes, and they both start enjoying this place, and showing them that this season ends here with a lot of mysteries, like where Aaron and Franklin were standing, and what was that place, and what is the organization of the thieves, and what do they do here? Why did he want to catch the thief and kill him? And why did Hannah catch Cornelius? All these things will be revealed in the next season. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this movie and what other movies or documentaries you want me to review next. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.